hope everybody remember what Senator Cody had to say. Just a first statement that I wrote down. I sent you folks written testimony on email. Far too long our immigration laws have been flaunted by illegal aliens, our own governments, and by unscrupulous businessmen. Our citizens have paid for this with reduced wages, benefits, job opportunities, and a lowered standard of living. That's my opinion and Ryle's opinion. If we enact E-Verify, first off, it will not harm any citizens or legal immigrants. Secondly, it will not cut any social programs and will not require any tax increases. Third, it will be a deterrent for illegal aliens to come to Rhode Island, which would eliminate our status as a sanctuary state. And I just want to go back again, and I apologize, Senator Lombardi, but to confirm that we're a sanctuary state. In 2011, there were 305 babies born to illegal alien women in Rhode Island. In 2012, it was 350. In 2013, it was 585. And in 2014, it was 526. I think that testifies to the fact that more illegal aliens are coming here. I think that just bears that up. And the cost of that is absolutely enormous. Another thing it would do, if we had E-Verify, it would encourage more reputable companies to come to Rhode Island because they knew they wouldn't have to compete with companies in Rhode Island that were hiring illegal aliens. And I think that's a fact. And currently, people can argue with me, but we estimate that there are over 20,000 illegal aliens currently employed in the state of Rhode Island. Currently employed. Now, in my opinion, if they were gone, employers would be forced to pay much more compatible wages. They would be forced to pay living wages, and Americans would have those jobs. And currently, the last thing, there are 1,700 plus employers in Rhode Island currently using E-Verify. And just bear with me, I'd just like to tell you a few of the companies that use E-Verify right now. First off, there are 26 cities and towns that use E-Verify in their hiring practices in the state of Rhode Island. And companies like CVS, Delta Dental, G-Tech, AAA, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Clean Care New England, Women and Infants Hospital, Memorial Hospital, Newport, Westerly, Butler Hospitals, RIPTA, Big Brothers, Planned Parenthood, Rhode Island Board of Higher Education, Rhode Island Kids Count, who gives all these figures on all these illegal aliens and how many are here. Progresso Latino uses E-Verify in their hiring practices. CHISPA uses E-Verify in their hiring practices. And the International Institute, it's Dorcas International right now, they use E-Verify in their hiring practices. So I think if E-Verify is good enough for all of those reputable companies in the state of Rhode Island, it should be good enough for the rest of the companies to use. And basically that's the end of my testimony. I'd encourage you to vote in favor of Senator Morgan's bill and Senator Cody's bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Senator Archibald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Terry, would E-Verify stop someone who's coming here and then has a child and the state incurs the cost? I'm not talking about somebody who's coming here to, legitimately establish residency and then follow the pathway to citizenship. I'm talking about somebody that, were to come here and have a child and then go back to a particular country of origin with the child born free at the expense of the state. And I am aware of that happening. And anyway, how would E-Verify help to protect against that scenario? I'm trying to put you on the spot, and maybe you don't know the answer to it, but...
And had that child, that E-Verify would not come into play. And with E-Verify, the person would have to be hired into the position. And after the fact, after the person was hired, the information from the I-9 would be sent off to Department of Homeland Security and Social Security, they would verify that the person was legally allowed to work in the United States, and they would notify the employer. And the system now only takes like a minute to get that verification back.
Continue, Senator.
I suppose then my question is somewhat rhetorical. I'm just trying to cull that out or separate that from the core of the argument of E-Verify, because I'm not entirely sure that E-Verify, I knew the answer before I asked you. I'm not entirely sure that E-Verify is the medium to sort of obviate or to avoid the possibility of somebody, coming solely to the country, not to put roots down and establish a pathway to citizenship, but to have a child and then to leave the country with the child born at the expense of it.
Bring in the paperwork to show you. But I was asked to have a conference with a couple of nurses from Women and Infants Hospital. And what the conference boiled down to, and I know this is only hearsay, the conference boiled down to was that a woman had come here from Cape Verde and delivered a baby at Women and Infants Hospital. The baby's delivered, the lady moved back to Cape Verde. We paid the whole bill for that woman to have the baby and so on and so forth. 2 years later, that same woman came back from Cape Verde alone, had another baby at Women and Infants Hospital, filed a complaint against Women and Infants Hospital for something that transpired during the first delivery, and left with the complaint in place and went back to Cape Verde with the second baby. And that was all for free. The taxpayers of Rhode Island had to pay for that. So there are examples all over the place. And the reason that nurse asked me to do it, because she said, I couldn't believe that we're giving a free childbirth to this woman a second time, and she filed a complaint against us from 2 years prior to that. And it's unresolved. I don't know what the status of that case is, but that woman is currently in Cape Verde with 2 U.S. citizen children that were born at Women and Infants Hospital that we all paid for.
Senator Matt, you have a question?
I'd like to tell you, I'm the great-great-grandson of people from the Cape Verde, along with the African-American heritage. I'd have to see some information about that, because I'd like to have her make a written statement. And first of all, when you go into the hospital, the first thing they want to see is your medical records, and they want to see how you're going to pay for it. If I go through the door bleeding, I had a reaction to some medication. Well, guess what? When I first came through the door with my tongue swollen, my neck swelled up, not knowing if my windpipe, the first thing they wanted to know was they going to get paid. They look for my medical coverage. So I disagree with that. And then the other thing is about the hospitals. Rather than training people here, one of the complaints that I got was they was flying in nurses from the Philippines instead of having nurses here. Some of our students that can go to school here and become nurses, they're flying in people from all over to keep the cost down.
Yeah, I agree that's the case.
I'd love to see that information. But being a descendant of some Cape Verdeans, I question that.
Because rest assured that that's the truth, Senator, from that nurse. And I'll do what I can do to have you and I and that nurse with the documentation sit down and see it. And
Any other questions or comments for this witness? Thank you.